Nerd Central Podcast, or NCP. My name is Staz, and today we're going to be talking about Alien Isolation. That just came out yesterday. And this is going to be a first impressions video, and this won't necessarily be a review, and I won't be spoiling anything, because I'm only about 3 hours into it. But I figured it would be a good short little video to at least, throw my thoughts out there, and maybe, I can help someone decide whether or not they want to pick it up or not. Let's just jump on right in. So with anything that I do first impressions or even reviews, I give pros, cons, and then whether or not you should buy it, wait for it to go on sale, or pass. Now, because it's the first impressions video, the last part, whether I recommend or don't recommend, it's going to be a little skewed, but most of the meat of the first impression will come. We'll have more weight to it. So pros, it's really good, and by really good I mean I am a fan of the Alien series, the Alien series. I love one. The Aliens, the second one, is my all-time favorite horror movie, and this starts off like it. I thought I was watching an Alien movie, the Ridley Scott or the James Cameron one. It's really, really good, and what I like about it is that they did really good painstaking detail to the nostalgia and to how all the ships were made and how the interior looks. I follow another podcast or web series on YouTube called Tested, and Adam Savage recently, or I don't know if it's recently, but he completed a flight suit from the first Alien, and there is, and this blew my mind, there are flight suits in the game, and they look exactly like it. They look like they're off on the Nostromo, and my mouth literally opened. I'm like, oh, those are so cool. They look so real. Now that's another thing too. That's another pro, is that graphically it looks very good. I can start to see where the next gen is starting to pull ahead from the 360 or last gen, and it's looking really, really good. Detail looks crisp, clean. Some of the animation, now this could just be because it's somewhat of a port and everything, but it kind of has a little frame rate issue, but it's not too noticeable, and it's not something that will take away from the gameplay experience. Another thing too that is really good is right off the bat, you're given your character controls and stuff like that. They feel like you're an actual person, and what I mean is that a lot of these a lot of games, when you move, you automatically start moving. When you run, you automatically run. When you do stuff, you automatically do it. You know what I mean? Like you attack. There's no lag. What I'm getting at. In this, there's actually a little bit of like a lag. So when you're running, in real life, when you run, you don't automatically run at full speed. You actually kind of take a couple of paces to run, and then you're at your full speed. And when you're running, you can't really turn as well. You can't make sharp turns. So when you have to run around a corner, you have to kind of anticipate to slow down a little bit and then pick up running again. It's actually a really interesting idea, especially if you do this for survival horror games, where if you need to move, giving the option or giving you the character, the player character, not those quick reflexes as I like to think about it. And whenever you need to do something, there's actual clunkiness to it, like a real person. Nobody has, superhero abilities and reflexes. I don't move like Iron Man or Captain America would, but it's a very subtle thing, and you probably won't necessarily notice it, but it's actually done really well. And I picked up on it when I was actually in the space station, and I'm like, oh, I get it now. So, another thing too is, while you are in, again, I'm only about 3 hours in, I was afraid that it would suffer from the quote-unquote Dead Space logic, where if you played the first Dead Space, I'm not going to spoil it, it's been out for a while, but you encounter the enemy, really, really quick, within the first 10-15 minutes of the game. I didn't see the alien until a good 2 hours in. Now, that wasn't an unscripted or scripted event. It was actually part of the cutscene. So I actually haven't had the chance yet to fight the alien. However, with that in mind, there are instances where I am literally looking around, the corner, and I am looking behind me because the environment is done very well. Very well. I think, the alien has a hiss to it almost. I look behind me, it's just a steam vent releasing the steam, or wherever the case may be. It definitely does have tension moments, and I'm the kind of person that responds really well to tension moments, especially in movies or video games. I don't play survival horror games just because the story, blah blah blah. I usually watch a horror movie or play a horror game because you want that thrill of being scared. And this actually had a couple moments like that. Now, to the cons. There is, while they actually do hold true to the original source material, the first Alien, Sigourney Weaver actually does a little bit of voiceover work. When she talks through the flight recorder at the end of the first Alien, and she's like, Ripley signing off, Kane's dead, Dallas is dead, blah 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 blah. That's actually done really well. However, that's the only good voice acting that I've heard so far. And your main character, Ripley's daughter, Amanda Ripley, her voice actor sounds stupid. Now, this could just be because of the situations that I'm in. Again, I'm slowly, working my way into it. I'm not going guns a-blazing and just trying to beat this as fast as I can. I want to be able to experience and, feel like I'm in the movie. Her voice acting right from the get-go seems out of place and out of sync. And, well, again, for all the attention to detail that they did with the space models and the interiors, I would have thought that the sound would have been a little bit better. At least the voice acting, the voice acting. Now, that's not to say that all the voice actors are superb. There's a character named Samuel, who's, I believe, a synthetic. His voice actor is okay. It's a little bit better than Amanda Ripley's, but that's not saying much. And then you come across a character called Axel, or at least that's the only character that I've come across that you actually have contact with. And he, too, has a really subpar voice actor. Now, again, I'm not really going to be holding too much by it because 9 times out of 10, all the dialogue that you're going to be hearing from him is during gameplay dialogue. The problem that I'm coming across is the actual cinematic dialogue, which should sound better, but it doesn't really, and that's kind of upsetting me. For somebody who really likes to hear people talk, or at least to hear things in the background or to hear voices, it's kind of lousy. Now, what I did also mention before is some of the frame rate issues, at least during cinematics. I have come across this, now it could be my system or whatever, but some of the frame rate issues persist while getting out of a cinematic into the gameplay. That, again, that might change later on, or I might have to reinstall it or install it again. I'm not really too worried about it, but that is something that you probably should watch out for. Now, and again, I'm playing this on the Xbox One, so I wouldn't expect this to be a problem, but it is. And then, finally, well, I didn't mention this before, but we come to the actual combat or the survival portions. While I do appreciate, scrapping and stuff like that, what I don't like is, now, again, I'm playing this on medium, and I come across my first enemies, which are other survivors, and because of the gameplay or the controls, which I appreciate, being kind of clunky like you're a real person, the problem that I had was trying to sneak past this group of people, and off the bat, they found me, shot me. I didn't know what to do. So that could just be because of how early I am in the game. I don't have a lot of defense mechanisms yet, or I don't have a lot of equipment, and I hope that does change. But I could see this becoming a really big problem. Just 2 shots of a gun, or somebody screaming, "Hey, over here!" And I'm like, well, I was crouched. I should be stealthy, but something like that has kind of almost put a bad taste in my mouth, just because it didn't feel right to me, and I don't want this to be a part where I'm more or less avoiding or hating the human element and the alien element, the monster element, not coming enough for me, or whatever the case may be. And then with that said, out of this, now again, I only played about 2.5 to 3 hours of it. With that being said, I do recommend this game. However, if you don't like survivor horror games, if you don't like the Alien series, or not a big sci-fi person in general, I would say wait for this to go on sale. Now, while I'm not a survivor horror game junkie, or movie watcher for that matter, I'm a really big Aliens fan, and I really liked a game that has very similar mechanics to this is a game called Outlast, and that game was really good. It had a really interesting mechanic in that Outlast, you had to see everything through a video recorder, and the survival part was more or less hiding. However, what I'm liking, which could be good, again, I haven't really experienced more of this, is the fact that you can create items out of blueprints. So right now I know how to create, I think, flares and medic kits. Now this, again, could change. I could hopefully maybe find, guns or flamethrowers or how to make bombs or whatever the case may be. But I really like that aspect of crafting, and that it gives you something to do and you don't feel necessarily driven by luck or random, RNG if a medikit's going to be over here or not. So, with that being said, I'm going to put this video to a close, and I will be doing a more extensive review on it once I complete at least more or less half or more of the game, and maybe I can get some of the other guys from Nerd Central to help me talk about it, or maybe I'll experience it with them, who knows. But again, this is a first impressions video of Alien Isolation. Pick this up on the Xbox One, and look forward to the review portion, which will be coming in the near future. Thank you. Bye.